You're watching JD's Variety Channel.
Good evening everyone and welcome to the video. I'm going to show you guys a really awesome score I found searching through some Zimbabwe banknotes. Now these are pretty hard to get your hands on. I'll show you one up close here in a second, but this is the highest banknote denomination ever known to be printed in the world. In 2008, Zimbabwe's currency reached the peak of inflation and it became pretty much worthless, and they started printing banknotes as high as $100 trillion. Yes, that's correct. If this was in USD, this one single note could pay off the United States' entire debt. But unfortunately, this has no monetary value, and when it was recalled officially, it was only in 2015 in the summer. They were paying 40 cents for these, the government was, when they recalled them. And I actually have an interesting story about that period as well. It's not something that was talked about very much by news sources. It was very interesting that they only officially demonetized their currency in 2015, even though it collapsed in 2008, even though nobody used the currency for about 7 years. It's pretty interesting, and I'll share a story about that sometime. But what we're showing today is what the amazing find is. Now, this is a sealed bundle. This is what it looks like, kind of how they come from the bank. Now, there would actually be 10 of these bundles, which would form into what is called a brick, which I showed in my last video. I can link to that below. So there would be a shrink-wrapped brick of 10 of these, and then they would look like this when you take them out of the brick. Now, similar to the US bills have star notes, which are their replacement notes for bills that are damaged in production. And in Zimbabwe, how they did their replacement notes is, instead of doing a star or something like that, you see this AA serial number here. For the replacement notes, they would make this a ZA, or in some instances, in some series, like a ZE, depending on how many of them they printed. But the vast majority of their replacement notes would have a serial number of ZA. Now, in the United States, on the star notes, I'm not sure about all of them, but I'm pretty sure, like the regular notes, they come out in packs of sequential star notes, because I've seen on eBay where you can buy a whole pack of, say, $1 US star notes that are sequential, and you could get it for like $150, $200. Some of the runs of them really aren't all that scarce. Now, in Zimbabwe, they printed the ZA notes, the replacement notes, within the normal runs of bills, and it's really strange. So you'll be randomly going through a pack, and then it'll skip a serial number, and they'll stick one of the replacement notes in there. So I don't know if it just means they skip some of the serial numbers. It's hard to say because they're missing and replaced with something else. It's very odd. So this is a pack of Zimbabwe $100 trillion. There's 100 of them in here. This bundle has a market value. If you sold it wholesale in a pack like this, it would have a market value of upwards of $5,500. These bills in uncirculated condition sell individually for about $65 a piece on eBay. So these things are not cheap. And this is a pack here, I wanted to show you guys, of the $10 trillion. Now, the bank sealed packs are going to have a starting serial number of 01, and when you flip to the back note, it should end in 00, or if it's, beginning kind of like ending another number, it might be 3 zeros or 4 zeros, but there's always at least 2 zeros at the end of the pack, and it's always going to start in 01. Or it could be 001, but you get the point. So when you're checking an uncirculated pack, the first thing you want to do is look for the 01, and then go to the back and look for the 00 to make sure that, most likely, without counting them, that there's 100 bills in this pack. Because sometimes there's been errors where when they were packaged by the bank, like one bill in the back of this one would actually be in the next wrapper. I've seen things like that happen before. So that's the first thing I do. Now, when I went to check this pack here, which is the one that has the high value, I went to the back of it and realized that it ends in 96. So I'm like, great, hopefully it's not missing bills. But then I also knew that the ZA bills, they come inside the packs, and that can throw off the serial number runs. So with that ending in 96, it tells me that I'm missing 4 banknotes from this pack. So I scanned through them, And I want to show you guys what I saw in here. And this is really cool because these are really scarce, especially with the highest denomination banknote in the world. They did not make many of these. So I was flipping through it, and it goes through all the serial numbers there. And then when I got close to the back here, you're going to see it in a second, boom, I hit a run of the ZA bills, and you can see there, 0007775, 7776, and the coolest note of them all, ZA 000 quad 7. Now these serial numbers are always low, especially on these trillion bills, because they didn't make many of them. And I believe for the trillion bills, there's only about 10,000 of these replacement notes ever issued. So they're already rare to begin with, and I got a really fancy serial number there. And then it also goes, there's one more, which is the fourth bill, 0007778. So these bills that have the ZA that are uncirculated right now sell for at least about $80 a piece. So I'm going to actually go ahead and open this for the first time, and I'm going to show it to you. We're going to take it right out of there. There you go, Zimbabwe $100 trillion, issued in 2008. ZA 0007777. And actually, I was saying the ZA bills sell for about $80, but with a fancy serial number like this, I would have no doubt that I could find the right collector that would pay over $100 for this bill alone. It is a very unique piece, uncirculated condition, and very few of them made. And this bird watermark changes different colors at different lighting angles. It's pretty cool. It goes from red to gold to green, just depending on the angle of it. It's pretty neat. And another anti-counterfeiting measure is the RZB strip here. You can see where it says RZB on there, which stands for Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. So there you go, just a cool little video today to show you something interesting that I found. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. And as always, take care and happy treasure hunting.